We're with Richard Schaefer, Golden Boy Promotions. We're here for the Mayweather Cotto press conference here in New York City, but let's take a couple steps back. This past Saturday night in St. Louis, Devin Alexander getting a lot of good praise for his performance against Maidana.
It was the best fight Devin Alexander fought. Devin Alexander didn't just win the fight on Saturday night. He really made a statement, and the statement was, I'm at 147, I feel comfortable, and there's nobody going to beat me. So I think with Devin Alexander, we have a guy who clearly took the game out of one of the most aggressive guys with Marcos Maidana, one of the hardest puncher. He showed heart. He showed an iron chin because Maidana attacked him a few times. He showed his speed, his combinations. He showed everything. And I think it's going to be very difficult for anybody at 147 to compete or beat Devin Alexander.
I know a couple months ago you toyed with the idea you want to do some kind of maybe welterweight round robin. You guys have a lot of horses in that division. Robert Guerrero now moving up that division. Is that still the plan? Maybe not so much in the tournament form, but maybe try to weed these guys out to see who becomes...
Well, you know, what we want to do is what we have been doing now for the last 12 months or so, to fight the best fighting the best. And I think the results, they sort of like speak for themselves. You look at the ratings, be it on ESPN, be it on Fox, be it on Telefutura, be it on HBO or Showtime or whatever, ratings growth on boxing is double digits. So clearly the fight fans and sports fans are embracing our attempt to really have the best fighting the best. And the 147 and 140 pound weight class and 154, those three weight classes is clearly where the action is, where the biggest fights are. There's a lot of fights you can mix and match, doesn't really matter who fights who. I just was yesterday actually looking at the ratings on my way over here from Puerto Rico, and I think we have about 75% of all stars within those three divisions are actually promoted by Golden Boy. So that's good news, because with fight fans we are not afraid to put the best fighting the best, and you're going to see some great matchups.
You had Oscar De La Hoya, who was the ultimate, I guess, promoter's dream, so to speak. Let's go a few pounds south. Adrian Broner, is this guy a promoter's dream or what?
Doesn't get better than that. From all the guys we've been promoting, I mean, I think he's not, I mean, first of all, he's a great talker, comes across very well, very charismatic and so on, but he backs up. I mean, this is a guy who talks the talk and walks the walk. I mean, he is really extremely charismatic, extremely good, makes things look easy, clearly a name which we will see he's only 22 years young, which we will see in the years to come. Certainly a guy, I mean, we're looking at these drones here, certainly a guy who can one day sit in one of those drones.
You just mentioned about all the star power between 40 and 54. There really does not seem to be that defining fight right now at 130. You feel you may have to get him up to 35 to get him one of those type of fights?
He actually talked to us about it. He would like to move up to 135. I mean, he's the kind of guy who wants to fight anybody. I mean, he is not afraid to get into the ring with anyone, very confident in his skills, and rightfully so. So we are going to be sitting down with his team. I'll be discussing with his advisor, Al Heyman, what's going to be next for him. I had some conversations with HBO as it relates to a return date, and so in the coming weeks we hopefully will have some more news as it relates to Adrian Broner, because the fact is our emails and the calls we are getting, people asking when can we see Broner again, is very, very substantial. So we will bring him back quick.
Now for the reason why we're here today, Mayweather and Cotto. This has all the makings of, maybe outside of, and maybe even approach the De La Hoya Mayweather fight.
Well, you cannot never really predict whether anybody or any fight is gonna beat. I mean, De La Hoya Mayweather is now at almost 2.5 million, 2,487,000 homes to be exact. So I think it would be a bit of a stretch to proclaim that any fight is going to break that. I think the record will eventually get broken. Honest truth is that when we did the Mayweather De La Hoya fight, we didn't think it's going to be 2.5 million homes either. So you just never know. But let me say that, and I feel very confident, and you guys can quote me on that. I have no doubt, zero doubt, that this will be the second biggest non-heavyweight fight of all time. Basically meaning it will eclipse the 1.5 million homes De La Hoya and Trinidad did. So there's no question about that. By how much? I don't know, that's like a crystal ball question, but based on early indications, I'm looking at the closed circuit sales, I'm looking at the ticket sales, I just got some updates, I'm looking at the foreign sales, and everything is ahead ahead of De La Hoya Mayweather.
Is there a rematch clause on this?
I'm not going to discuss what the contractual deal points are, but we feel comfortable. We have a great relationship with Floyd Mayweather and his team. As I said, we've been working together since 2007 on every single fight. We're starting a very nice relationship with Miguel Cotto. So no matter what happens, I'm pretty convinced that we will continue to work together.
It looked like one day to see a Floyd Manny fight, right? But do you think that the two of them are both in kind of heavy and could kill that whole thing?
What do you mean?
They're both in against strong opposition, Pacquiao and.
Well, you never know. I think
anything can happen to destroy.
You never know. You never know. I mean, you never know, and I'm really not worried about it. I mean, they don't want to do the fight, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because it's very aggravating, and they know, and I don't want to deal about it anymore because the fact is, Abrams. I mean, I'm sure Pacquiao wants to fight. Abrams doesn't. So. And we all know that, and you guys, you can. Some of you guys are drinking the top-rank Kool-Aid, others don't, and those who don't, they realize that it's Abrams who doesn't want to fight. But I don't want to talk about it because the fact is, this is a great fight, an exciting fight, a big fight. And so, and then you have Canelo on the undercard with Mosley. I mean, that's huge as well for Cinco de Mayo. Interesting style, interesting matchup because obviously Shane Mosley. Biggest wins came against Mexican fighters. Shane Mosley always tells everyone who wants to hear it that he feels most comfortable fighting Latinos, fighting Mexicans. That's the style he grew up with, training in the gyms in Southern California as a young kid. And so he's going to go into that fight very, very confident. How much he has left, I don't know. But I'm sure that whatever he has left, and then maybe some, he's going to bring because he knows this is his last chance, and it's a chance to become world champion again. And I think it's probably he's going to have a little extra motivation because Canelo Alvarez is our young, emerging star at Golden Boy, and so I wouldn't put it past him that he wants to, let's show Golden Boy.
How easy was it to make this fight? The Cotto
Mayweather fight was relatively easy to be made because both fighters wanted it. It is an expensive fight. It's a very expensive fight to make. The most expensive fight we've ever made. But it is the magnitude of the event, the magnitude of the fight. So, but dealing with Gabi and Miguel on this team was first class. Miguel came to my office with his team, and we had a great meeting, great discussions, and it was relatively quick. I think in a matter of a couple of weeks, the fight was done.
Who first started who initiated this fight? Was it your side or their side?
Well, I think once Miguel was a free agent, he obviously was a name which we were considering. We were looking at other names. Canelo was one of the names we looked at. Potential rematch with Victor Ortiz. But there were different names we were looking at. Obviously, the one fight which we really wanted to get done was obviously the Pacquiao. But it became very clear when Abrams refused to sit down with me and discuss the fight that that's not going to happen. Even though Floyd encouraged him to do so on his Twitter account, I think Bob just doesn't get it and preferred to send Michael Kahns to the gym to try to get the fight done. But be it what it is. So once we realized that fight was not going to happen, Miguel Cotto clearly is the biggest name, certainly at 154, and for Floyd to actually fight Miguel at 154, even though Miguel agreed to fight Pacquiao at 150, would have gone down as low as 150. Mayweather could have just said, hey, I'll fight the guy at 150, but for Mayweather to actually step up and fight him at 154, a lot of credit goes to Mayweather. So that clearly was the number one name. I think Cotto is the number one name at 154. He's the man at 154, and Mayweather likes to fight the man. And so he told us, well, if you can't get this done, try to get that done. And that's how the whole thing started. So I picked up the phone, called Gabi, and we had some initial conversations. Whether there's any interest, there was interest, and then a personal meeting took place during which we discussed, the framework of a deal. And then from that point on, it took maybe a couple of weeks to get it done.
You mentioned that Cotto was probably the number one name from the get-go. Did you have any trepidation that he may go for that rematch with Pacquiao? Were you guys keeping close tabs on that? I guess they were.
What do you mean?
I guess Cotto and Pacquiao were flirting with a rematch possibly. Were you keeping close tabs on how
not really. I don't really keep close tabs on what Abrams says. You know, Abrams said as well that Peterson was going to fight. He was not going to fight Khan again. That Peterson was going to fight Marquez, and he already had, the venue locked in or whatever. So I'm not really, I am not really keeping close tab on what Abrams does. And frankly, you guys shouldn't either. You know.
Hey, Jesse Vargas and Alfonso Gomez, is that set for the card as well?
I don't really know. You have to talk to Eric about it, but definitely Jesse Vargas will be on the card. I'm not sure whether the opponent has been locked in.
Alfonso Gomez's name has been.
I think Alfonso Gomez's name has been floating around. Whether it has been confirmed or locked in, I don't know.
And I guess there'll be another television bout.
There will be another, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Quickly, any past discussions about this fight?